जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासवी गौर। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। एवरीबॉडी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम राम
हरे राम राम राम। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्लोक एक जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। सुखदेव गोस्वामी प्रभु प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेट। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। एवरीबॉडी
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 You have the papers with you, the book Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayana Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswati Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudire.
Tato Jayamudire.
Read the translation.
Prabhu, you want me to read?
Yeah.
I was just concentrating on doing the recording and sharing the recording. Okay. So the translation of 798 says, Prahlad Maharaj prayed, how is it possible for me who have been born in a family of Asuras to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words.
Hare Krishna, I wanted you to read the translation of the Narayanam Namaskritya.
Oh, Prabhuji, actually, I'll have to go up and stroll and find it. I don't have it with me right now.
Okay, then I will read it. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam,
thank you.
It's a very means of conquest. How one should offer respectful obeisance unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of fortune, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shinvatam Swakata Krishna. Bolo, everybody.
Shivnam Shraddha Krishna.
Punya Shravana Kirtana. Hridyantastoya Vadrani.
Vidrastevastani.
Vidunoti Suhrat Satam.
Vidunoti Surastam.
Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayasha Vadreshu.
Nashtaprayasha Badreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttam Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki.
By regular attendance in the classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transmitted songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So now we'll come to today's verse. Shri Prarada Uvacha.
Shri Prahlad Vacha.
Brahma Daya Suragana.
Brahma Daya Suragana.
Munayo Atasiddha.
Punyo Atasiddha.
Sattvae Katana Gatayo.
सत्वे कहो
Vachasam pravahayai
दिशां प्रवाह है
naraditum puru gunair
नारदितु पुरुगुण
adunapi pipruhu
अधुनाति पुरुः
kim tostum arhati
किं संतोषम् अर्हति
same harir ugra jate.
समय
Jate.
Translation: Prahlad Maharaj prayed, how is it possible for me who have born in a family of asuras to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the supreme personality of God? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words. Although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness, then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Vaishnava is fully qualified to serve the Lord, still thinks himself extremely low while offering prayers to the Lord. For example, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, say, Jagai Madai Haite Muni se papishta, Purusher Kita Haite Muni se lagista. That thus he considers himself unqualified, lower than the worm in the stool, and more sinful than Jagai and Madai. A pure Vaishnava actually thinks of himself in this way. Similarly, although Lord Prahlad Maharaj was a pure, exalted Vaishnava, he thought himself most unqualified to offer prayers to the Supreme Lord. Mahajanayena gata sapanta. Every pure Vaishnava should think like this. One should not be falsely proud of his Vaishnava qualities. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore instructed us, Srinada Pismichana Tarora Pisaishma Amanena Manadena Kirtane Sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree devoid of all sense of prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a humble state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is meek and humble, to make progress in spiritual life is very difficult. So today is Srimad Bhagvatam, reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 9. So once again we'll read the translation. Prahlad Maharaj prayed, how is it possible for me who have been born in a family of asuras to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words, although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness. Then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. This is the qualities of a Vaishnava that is being amplified in this verse. In every song of our Vaishnava songs, Acharyas, after writing a beautiful song, they are wondering, when will I ever get the mercy of the Lord so that I can glorify the Lord constantly? I am not qualified. So they are always talking about that their disqualification. Because Uttama Bhagavata, he thinks he is not a Vaishnava. But a Kanishta devotee, he will think he is the best of the Vaishnavas. This is the difference between a Kanishta and Uttama. And a Madhyam Adhikari, he has the ability to distinguish who is Kanishta, who is Madhyam, who is Uttama. And accordingly offers respect. This is mentioned in the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita. So, the Madhyam Adhikari, he knows who is advanced and who is not advanced, and he will serve those devotees who are advanced in a very menial way and hear from him Harikatha. This is how he makes progress. Whereas the Kanishta, he thinks he is the best of everybody. We have seen it again and again, even in the movement in the earlier days. Everybody thinks we know the truth, and that creates pride within us. Actually, the truth may be there, but have you realized? Have you understood it? Are you able to apply it in our day-to-day life? That is the question. So this is a very important verse. Which Prahlad is thinking that even though he's born in Asura family, and if the demigods could not satisfy the Supreme Lord, and being in the mode of goodness, and well versed in the Vedic the tenets of etiquettes, and they were offering such wonderful prayers, but even then Lord was not satisfied. So Prahlad Maharaj says, how can I satisfy the Supreme Lord? I am not at all qualified. Actually, Prabhupada, before he came to the West, he was in Radha Damodar. Every day in the evening, he would broom the courtyard of Rupa Goswami and Rupa Goswami Samadhi and Bhajan Kutir. And he would cry and cry and cry that I am most unqualified to go to the West to execute the order of my Guru. When will the mercy of come? And then he would broom the place in the middle of the night and he would cry. So there were some devotees, Vaishnavas who were there. They thought, wow, who's crying like this? Whole night he is crying. So he went and saw that it was Abhay Babu, Bhaktivedanta Swami. He was crying and crying and crying because he felt he was not at all qualified to execute this mission of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. We think we have opened one temple or made a few devotees, we think we are so empowered, completely qualified, not knowing that these people are coming to us as devotees. They have been sent by Krishna. Prabhupada said that also. All of you have done some devotional service in the past life. Therefore, you are attracted. He never took the credit. I was so expert in preaching. I knew all the Shastras. I knew nothing, none of these things. He always had this humble state of mind. So it's very important that if we want to become successful, as it is mentioned, unless one is meek and humble to make progress in spiritual life, is very difficult. This is this formula. The whole idea is the Atma is actually very small, 10,000th of the tip of the hair. So by nature, we are very small, insignificant. We cannot even see ourselves in this body. So what is there to be proud of? What? The body, the material mind, and the material intelligence. And how does this material mind, it works only in the way how expert you are to exploit the material world. People go to Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, this university. What do they learn there? How to exploit the material world and all the inhabitants. America consumes 60% of the world's production. All their education is meant to just exploit this production. 60% they want. And the remaining rest of the world, only 40%. So it is not so easy. It is easy said and done. But to remain humble in the level of the soul, which is so insignificant, we have no reason to be proud of anything in our life. What is there to be proud of? What? We have not created the material world. We have not have money. We don't have anything. And at the time of death, we're going to leave everything. So what is there to be proud of? We can only feel fortunate that we have gotten the mercy of a pure devotee. Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Shraddha Pai Bhakti. When a wandering soul is somehow or other, by his good fortune, he gets the seed of devotional service by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Then only he becomes a Bhagyavan, very fortunate person. So we have to clearly understand how this good fortune works for all of us, and then how to apply that in our life. And we cannot just act like this, oh humble, oh Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance. All these things will not work. It can be all artificial. But humble means one who's ready to execute the order of the Guru and Krishna, that fulfill the Vaishnava's desires when they say something. Our Yudhishthira Maharaj was very proud, very conscious of his ability to speak only truth. But Krishna wanted him to tell a lie that Ashwatthama is dead. And he refused. He said, well, Ashwatthama is not dead. But then Bhima was told, instructed that he killed an elephant called Ashwatthama. So that way he had to tell a lie, which he never did it. But Dronacharya will only accept that statement of Yudhishthira Maharaj, not anybody else, because they can say lies. But Yudhishthira Maharaj cannot say lies. Therefore, when he announced it, he said, Ashwatthama, the elephant, very low voice, is dead. And Ashwatthama Dronacharya heard that statement. He immediately gave up his weapons and everything, because he felt, now my dearest son is dead. And at that time, when he was sitting to meditate, then Drishtadhyumna came with a sword and chopped off his head. And then Ashwatthama realized this was something happened like this. He was surprised. How did he? My father's head was chopped. So later on, he took the revenge of killing all the children of Pandavas. He thought he was killing the Pandavas, but he did not. So because he was full of pride, he could do something like that. I had to satisfy my good friend Duryodhana. And to satisfy him, he ended up killing all the devoted children of Pandavas. Draupadi was very sad, all the 5 sons were sad. So this is the case of a person who is not humble. He will commit any offense. And those who are humble, really, like Prabhupada was always humble. One time in London, he was inaugurating the temple, London Ishwara, I think. And then there was a lot of little chaos near the altar because things has to be arranged. Prabhupada was giving instructions. So one person in the audience, some hippie or somebody, Swamiji, why don't you chant Hare Krishna and be happy and become free from stress? He tries to give instruction to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, yes, I must now chant. And he said, give me my bead bag, and he started chanting. And after some time, Prabhupada did his service to establish this deity. So even though a common man, a stranger, instructs Prabhupada to chant his rounds, chant Hare Krishna and become happy, Prabhupada was always happy. Whether he is in an angry mood or anything, he is always happy in Krishna consciousness. But this man did not understand Prabhupada's mind at all. Rather, he said, why don't you chant, Swamiji, Hare Krishna mantra? So he was very humble. Prabhupada was very humble. He did not say, well, I am the founder of this movement. Why don't you keep quiet? You don't know anything. You think you know better than me? No, none of this. Immediately he took that instruction and took the bead back and he started chanting. Similarly, Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti's first wife, what is this? The first wife's name? Suruchi. So, even though Dhruva Maharaj was insulted by his stepmother, Suruchi instructed Dhruva not to find any fault in anybody. It's one's own karma that we are suffering. And he prevented Dhruva Maharaj to criticize Suruchi or anything like that. Even though she herself was very much hurt by the behavior of Suniti. But if this is the case, that this is Krishna's arrangement. And then Then when Dhruva Maharaj asked him, where will I find Krishna? Then he said, you should go, like your Suruchi was actually giving the best instruction. You should worship Krishna, and then only you will give up this body, take birth in her womb, and then he can sit on the throne. So Suruchi was telling the first part of the instruction, she took it. Said, what your stepmother said is right. You should, who's that?
Sorry, Prabhu.
So,
some devotees are still chanting. It's okay. I'm mute.
So Suruchi took the best part of the insult of Suniti, that she said you should go to first worship the Lord. And where will I find the Lord? So go to the forest. So she without criticizing her other wife, the second wife who was junior to her, and she told us her son to follow in the footsteps of great devotees and go to the forest and find Krishna. And because he was so sincere about his determination to go and meet Krishna and get his desires fulfilled, even though it was purely a material reason, Narada Muni was sent by Krishna to guide him. And there also the little disagreement was there, but finally Narada Muni could see that being the born of a Kshatriya, there's so incredible mind they had. They felt so hurt when he was a small boy. The boys don't know what is being hurt and not being hurt. Sometimes yes, but not all the time. So Radha Govinda Maharaj was telling a small boy of that age will only get upset when you take away his toys. Otherwise not. So Narada Muni was trying to discourage him and from this going to the forest idea of going to the forest, that he should go back to his house and be with his mother. But Dhruva Maharaj was so sincere about this. And then Narada Muni initiated him in the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And within 6 months he could see Krishna. Such an intense practice of Nam Jap. So all these things has come because he was very humble also. He became very humble. He followed the instruction of his guru, and that finally gave him the destination of taking shelter of Krishna. And when he finally found that darshan of Krishna, he said, oh, I'm so foolish. I was looking for broken piece of glass. Now I got the valuable gem of the darshan of Krishna. So this is what happens when you become humble. Then you realize, I'm just wasting my time in sense gratification, planning sense gratification all the time. When will the time come that I give up this planning stage and surrender to Krishna? So it's not an easy thing to attain the stage of Trinada, more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, grass as an example, more humble than a blade of grass. Even the grass can come up when you put a feet, but you have to be more humble than a blade of grass. More tolerant than a tree. A tree is giving shade, fruits, leaves. Finally, it sacrifices its own wood for the people to burn wood in their homes. More tolerant. Still, if you have any rain or anything, the tree will say, please come to my shade. The tree will never deny if she's still there. Always offering respect to others. And the last one is Manadena Kirtane Sarai, not expecting any respect from anybody. We don't give respect with the anticipation that I should also be respected. If I respect you, you respect. This is not a humble state of mind. So this is the prerequisite to chant the holy name of the Lord purely. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj in this verse was telling, if such great demigods were seated in goodness, they could not satisfy Krishna. How could I satisfy? But actually, he had the real qualification. Because he felt like this. He experienced this. How can I say? And it was him who could finally actually satisfy Nrsimhadev. All the demigods were pushing him. Go, go, go. Start your prayers. So this is the way which Prahlad Maharaj shows that unless one considers oneself very fallen, just like Prahlad Maharaj was thinking, I was born in a Asura family where all the demigods are all very highly elevated souls with so much sukriti. So how can I satisfy Krishna when compared to this demigod? So by taking that humble position, he was had all the qualities to pacify Nrsimhadev, to please Nrsimhadev. So this is the only qualification. There is no qualification needed as you're a learned scholar or a pandit, an expert in speaking. None of this. Simply, one must want to be a pure devotee. That's all. Like the South Indian Brahmin, he was asked to read Bhagavad Gita by his Guru Maharaj. He could have questioned, why is Guru Maharaj giving me such an instruction, knowing very well that I don't know how to read and write. But he simply followed that instruction. He was flipping the pages of Bhagavad Gita, and this picture of Krishna appeared to him, right, in front of in his mind, that how Krishna is so great that he's ready to become a chariot driver of his devotee Arjuna. And tears were coming because of that love which was coming. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally accepted that you are a real student of Bhagavad Gita, and he blessed him by his embrace. So everywhere you can see this Trinadapi Sunitjana principle has to come if you want to be successful in spiritual life. Otherwise, we can do whatever we want, but it'll be anything Krishna conscious, a little bit is there, maybe it'll take a long time. So if there are any questions or comments, please ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for
Yes.
your class. Very, very, knowledgeable. I wanted to ask you, like, when people do tapasya, I've seen a lot of them, they stand on one feet and then they put the other like that yoga pose. I mean, I don't understand what's the reason of doing that kind of tapasya, standing on one feet for years,
There are people not only stand on one feet, they raise one hand up, and another hand is down, and the up hand he never puts it down, and that hand doesn't get nourishment. It becomes very thin, like a little stick. People are doing all sorts. That's called tapasya in the mode of ignorance. People also sit between fire. All the four directions there's fire, and there's fire on top of the head, and they tolerate all these things to overcome the urges of the mind. So our tapasya is to get up early in the morning and chant our japa. We don't have much big request. Prabhupada did not give also, like today Chaturmasya, this is Chaturmasya. Prabhupada gave us very simple instructions. The first month you fast from spinach, second month you fast from yogurt, third month you fast from milk, fourth month only Urada. In Gaudiya Math, they have restrictions for all the 4 months. You cannot eat tomatoes, you cannot eat this, you cannot eat this, you cannot eat so many things. That is their standard, but Prabhupada did not give us that, because he knew that we are not fit even to chant 16 rounds. We are struggling, and the minimum standard is 64 rounds, 1 lakh holy names. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I will accept the offering of a person who chants, who's a lakpati, chants 1 lakh names of the holy name of Krishna. Only then I accept prasad in his house. So just imagine the standard of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. and the standard of Prabhupada. As he gave us this minimum 16 rounds, so not less. Try to chant.
So that is in the mode of ignorance. All these tapasya that are
Some tapasya may be bona fide, but it is ignorance because the goal is not Krishna. The goal is for one's own, for getting some siddhis from performing austerities. Therefore, it's in the mode of ignorance.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Any other question?
So, Prabhuji, like you mentioned about Chaturmas, right? Chaturmas, you mentioned that these things are to be left, right? Because they are not good for the body. Udad dal, milk, right? So, do devotees really follow this, or if we don't follow,
at least in ISKCON, they have to follow these things. They follow most of the time. And suppose you are a sick person, you need to take milk. Then you have to add a few drops of lemon juice or mix some other thing so that it doesn't remain as pure milk. Similarly, yogurt, the second month you don't take yogurt, but don't offer yogurt. You offer buttermilk. Buttermilk is also a transformation of yogurt. Take the butter out. So you can make a little adjustment if you are not able to follow that. But try to follow as much as you can. And in Gaudiya Math, of course, the standard is even more. They cannot eat practically 15 to 20 vegetables. Only at the end of Chaturmasya, they make a big feast. But they don't give up potatoes. Some of Bengalis are very fond of potatoes. And potatoes are not even Vedic. Jagannath temple, they don't offer potatoes. But the Gaudiya Math takes potatoes. So everybody follows, they have their own standard. But the idea is, Prabhupada has given us a certain standard, we should try to stick to that. Like minimum 16 rounds and things like that. Otherwise, how is your commitment? Just like if you're married, your business is the wife serves the husband protects the wife. Now, if you're married, but if you don't serve the husband and the husband doesn't protect, then what is the value of such marriage? They all end up in divorce. You see? So similarly, if you have come to a guru and you have taken initiation, and if you have promised before fire sacrifice, before the Lord, before the Brahmanas, before Guru, you must take the trouble to chant. He said, Prabhupada said, if you're hungry, you take your prasadam. Then don't take prasadam and chant your rounds and then take prasadam. He said very clearly.
Yeah, Prabhuji, can we compare, for example, there are a lot of people, they always ask this question about onion garlic, garlic, where is it written in the Shastras? They want to know. Because, I mentioned Bhagavad Gita about the egg, meat and all that, and eat fruits. But onion garlic, where does it mention? And is also onion garlic compared to this Chaturmas thing, it encourages sense gratification in the body? Is it all connected together?
You have to know the history of how onions and garlic came about. Lord Shiva, what I heard is Lord Shiva accidentally killed a bull. And then he cut the bull and threw that bull meat all over the planet. And from that came onions and garlic. So eating onions and garlic is as much as eating beef. So we have to, it is there somewhere in the Shastras, but I don't know exactly in Prabhupada's books where it is. But the point is, onions and garlic, if you cook onions, if you cook meat without onions and garlic, it will not even taste anything. Those who have eaten meat, they can say that. You have to put onions and garlic. Otherwise, it has no taste. It's bland. So similarly, onions and garlic it's very tasty in one sense, but it will increase your desires for mode of passion and growth. Sex desire will definitely increase. But garlic is also a medicine. Everything that is medicinal properties, so if you take for special purposes, then it's okay. but not every day. Especially you cannot offer that to Krishna. You can take as a medicine. A medicine is not offered to Krishna. Any questions, other comments?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for mentioning that. And so basically, there's so much other things to take. I mean, onion, garlic, and all that thing. And Chaturmas, even the rainy season, we have to be careful that, is it also connected to Vishnu is sleeping? In Chaturmas, I'm talking about again, that
Yes.
Vishnu is sleeping. So that's why people should indulge less in sense gratification and also restrict their diets.
Yeah. It is there. These are all there. If you are Brahminical, you'll follow naturally. But if one is not Brahminical, is overwhelmed by passion and ignorance, then you cannot avoid all this. He will also eat during Chaturmasya, so many things. I mean, it is said to have children, when you get married, you should have children. And children means having sex. And how many times? According to what I understand, is once a month. Now, who follows once a month sex life? Only a Brahmana can do that. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, they need, the frequency is more for them. But if the goal is to have children, then you produce children. Don't use contraceptives or anything, pills or anything like that. But then you have a different type of children. If the frequency is more, then the mode of ignorance increases. And if the Kshatriyas, they are very passionate, they have more wives also, more wives, and their frequency is distributed among so many wives. They have children. The mode of goodness means once a month, but that requires quite some control, understanding of the mind and how to control and how to connect it to. That's why it's called Garbhadhan Samskar. It is a samskar where you impregnate. Garbhadhan, dhan means seed, impregnate in the garbha, in the embryo, in the what is it called? Where the baby is there, embryo. So these are all there in the. See, whether you want to follow or you are able to follow, that's another story. That is individual development. If it's a mode of goodness, you will follow. You'll have more chances to follow. Mode of passion, a little bit less. Mode of passion and ignorance, even more less, and ignorance is more less. Any other question?
Yeah, Prabhuji, in context to the children you were saying, there was one Prabhuji, devotee Prabhuji, who told his wife that, Prabhupada ji has given our relationship is almost like, because, like married life, children, begetting children is the only time when you have sex, otherwise you don't have with your wife, right? So that Prabhuji would tell his wife that our relationship is just like a brother-sister only. So he
Not
would...
brother and sister. You cannot
was
make
very
a
strict.
wife.
Yeah.
You cannot make a wife or husband into brother and sister. The wife,
No, he meant to
that's
say, Prabhuji, he meant to say that because it's like so strict, no? So it's like we almost seems we are like brother sister only because we are only using sense gratificatory sex life for only begetting children. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. If you are even able to do that, that is quite good. Most of the people cannot even do that. I remember in Germany, there's some couple came to me and asked me, Prabhu, we are trying since so many years and no child. I said, what are you trying? Once a month we do it. I said, maybe you need more frequency. Because not everybody can, because sometimes a body requires a certain potency of the semen.
So
But if
Prabhuji, is this given in the Shastras?
Yeah, everything. In Ayurveda, it's all there. But Prabhupada mentioned it. That's a Garbhadhan. That's why you have to chant 50 rounds at least, they say. I remember those days when I was married, I was able to chant 50 rounds without any trouble. Because I know very soon I'll have the enjoyment facility. But before that, I was chanting 50 rounds. Shastra, see, It is not in the form of this type of rule, but the basic thing is the Shastra says whenever you have sex, you are meant to work procreating children. Krishna says, "Na dharmo aviruddho kamo asti." Sex life which is not contrary to the religious principle, that's its enjoyment is me. There is enjoyment there, no doubt. Sense of touch and this and that, so many things are there. But the goal must be to have children, not to avoid children. No.
So it's similar to ethics in terms of not use, I mean, when God is like, no, not using contraceptives. That's like Catholicism.
That's like
Catholics, like they also.
Yeah, they are supposed to do that. But before the Catholics came, India was already existing. And all the Vedic culture was existing. Catholic is only 1,500 years old. Yeah, but they do mostly by suppression. Very few people have higher taste of spiritual life. Because they're Catholics, they're raised very strictly, and they know if you don't do this, then you're committing a sin. Therefore, you have to do it. So it is more or less based on not committing sin. But in Vedic culture, that level of restriction is not there. Just the main thing is to have children. Now the children can be produced in mode of goodness or mode of passion and ignorance, mode of ignorance. That wide choice is there.
So,
Anything.
Yeah, but what is the reason that God wants to promote people to have children? More population.
No, that is the purpose of having marriage. Is only the main principle of marriage is to have children. One of the external purposes. The internal purpose is to serve Krishna together like a team.
And also is it because when you have children, you learn to share, you learn to give, and all those qualities?
Exactly. So many things, so many factors will come. You're not the only person. You have to take care of Krishna at the same time. You have to take care of his children also. You cannot give an excuse of children of not serving Krishna. One time, there was one older Vaishnavi, our Prabhupada disciple. Her name is Arundhati. He is Pradyumna's wife, the Sanskrit scholar. And they had a small child called Aniruddha, very sweet boy. So one time Prabhupada was in his room and he saw suddenly this Aniruddha running around in Hare Krishna land in Bombay. So he was wondering, why is nobody taking care of this child? And then he found out that his Aniruddha's mother is Arundhati. Then he called her. Why are you not taking care of your child? Your child is running, something will happen to him. You will have no idea what is happened to him. So he said, and she gave the excuse that she said, Prabhupada, I had to finish my round. Your first business is to take care of your child, not your chanting. So while taking care of the child, you can be constantly singing different songs and this and that. Make it very, in Braj, Vrindavan, they were always Krishna conscious. They were always glorifying Krishna. They were not following it like a rule because their attachment to Krishna was like that, to a spontaneous attraction. So the purpose of marriage is to have children, of course. Otherwise, why should you even get married? You are attracted to a woman, you like to take responsibility of a woman, then children will come. If somebody wants to be a brahmachari in life, he doesn't want to take any such responsibility because he knows he has to get a job, he has to make money, or some or other do some business or whatever it is. Or even if you're a brahmana, for example, our famous Jayadev Goswami. Now he was a brahmana. He was going every day morning to the temple and offering prayers to the Lord. So one time another brahmana was also coming. He was praying to the Lord, "Oh Lord, please find a husband for my wife, for my daughter." So then Krishna appeared in a dream to him and said, "Every morning there's a brahmana coming. You go and hand over the daughter to this brahmana." So next day, this husband, this father of this Padmavati, he was waiting in the temple, Jagannath Puri temple, and he was watching who's coming, who's going. Then he saw one Brahman was coming, Jayadeva Goswami. Then immediately he went to him and paid obeisances. The Lord has ordered me to give my daughter to you. So our Jayadeva Goswami was quite surprised. But the Lord did not tell me anything. So let me find out from the Lord what he wants me to do. Then he prays to the Lord, and the Lord answers, I want that you marry Padmavati. And he said, but I don't have any job. I don't have any means to make money or anything. He said, don't worry. Padmavati is goddess of fortune. She will bring everything for you. Don't worry about it. But they were living in very poverty-stricken Brahmanas. They take a vow of poverty, and they were living in a poverty, poor condition. They will not accumulate big wealth and things like that. They simply immersed in devotional service. So this is a case, another case, where the husband and wife, they never had children, amazingly. And which is a very rare case in Vedic culture. But Krishna, she got an opportunity to serve Krishna very personally. Even Jayadeva Goswami never had that chance. She fell at the feet of his wife and said, you have served Krishna. There's a whole history behind it. So you can have a wife who is very elevated, or the husband is very elevated, and both of them together serve Krishna in a wonderful way. And if you have children, you engage the children also in Krishna service. You understand now?
Yes, Prabhuji. So, but basically what you're saying is that by having children, one learns all these qualities, but, you can also learn them without having children.
Not really. If you are husband and wife, you'll be miserable without a child. Both husband and wife will be frustrated. They can artificially try to give up, not to have children, thinking that they're very advanced. But I have seen personally several cases where the husband and wife, they leave each other and they marry somebody else, and elsewhere they produce a child. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had few children in his first marriage. The wife died. So the children were very small. Then he got remarried again, Bhagavati. And with this lady, he had more children. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur could have told his first wife, or the second wife, oh, we already have children from the first wife, we don't need to have. No. If you married a woman, one of the prime thing a woman wants is to have children. Nowadays, maybe you get all sort of women with all sort of crazy ideas in their head. How can they satisfy? The motherly feelings will not come out. It is said if you don't have a child, the breast will not even produce milk. And the breast is meant to be a place to produce milk for the child. It is said the mother gives birth to this child, but it is said the child also gives birth to the mother. This feeling of motherhood comes when you have a child. The child is instrumental in giving this wonderful feelings. That's why it is said a mother's love to Krishna or to the child is the closest thing to spiritual love. So all these things are there. You cannot avoid all these things in the name of Krishna consciousness.
Right.
Otherwise, don't marry. Just be a brahmachari or something. But for
Thank
a
you,
woman,
Prabhuji. Yeah.
all women should get married. Prabhupada said, made it very clear. I heard few lectures also. All man doesn't have to get married. If he can live without a marriage, he can live. But a woman must be married. And they are married before the puberty arrives. They reach the puberty, the parents already arrange a marriage, even though they may not stay together. She already knows in her mind, I have a husband. So this was the standard Vedic culture. Nowadays, they don't marry, they remain single and create all sort of problems, not because of the woman, but the men also get agitated. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in the the first canto, last chapter, single woman, he says, unmarried woman is the biggest source of problem. Unmarried woman. Therefore, all women should get married.
No, the biggest source of problem because they're beautiful and attract men. That's why.
Yeah. They cannot continue. They cannot be, and they will also exploit. If the parents don't arrange a proper marriage, then they have boyfriend girlfriend
Yeah.
relationship. They enjoy the sex like we see in America all over the place.
Right.
Before the marriage, they have already experienced everything.
Mm.
There's nothing, no mystery in marriage,
Right.
no special mystery. Because in Vedic culture, when the Kanyadan is done, first time the sense of touch of the husband and wife is felt. First time when we are on the fire sacrifice. But nowadays they're holding the hands and walking around all over the place before even getting married. Then what is the mystery left there? There's no suspense in the whole life.
Yeah, but what is the
And
need of it in the childhood marriage? Like, in the villages now they get married, but the girl stays with the parents. Then she goes to the husband's house after a few years.
yes,
What is
but
the
she goes and visits them, and the husband also comes and visits. He had to have some basis. If he's a Brahmana, he is going by the Brahminical duties. If he's Kshatriya, he is going by Kshatriya duties, like that. Vaishya duties, Shudra duties. But
Yeah,
she already knows. She already knows that I have a husband. That is the most important thing. She's already fixing her mind on the husband as soon as she's married.
So what you're saying, Prabhuji, that mother's love is as good as spiritual love, right?
Yeah, closest to spiritual love.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I mean, a mother generally is selfless, but nowadays mothers are also not selfless. They are aborting their children. Now in America, there's a democratic, they say a woman has the right to her body. This and that, they have a big slogans going on. And this Kamala Harris speaking things, we have a right to do with what we want to do with our body. What about the other bodies? They have no right. All sort of stupidity comes in Kali Yuga, unfortunately. The election campaign which is going on in America.
Yeah, so you agree, don't want to talk politics, but you agree with what Trump is doing. I mean, according to our Shastras, he is right then.
According to our Shastras?
Trump is right that you cannot have, abortion and all.
Yeah, but see, that is a problem is that Trump is also not a guru or a Vaishnava or Acharya. He's a politician. He just wants to, they all have this pro-Christianity slogans, But where is the higher taste? Param drishtva nivartate. When the higher taste of spiritual life comes, then all these things can be followed very easily. But the higher taste is not there. It is not possible. You can only make a show of this thing, but in the privacy of your life, you'll do everything abominable.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai Ho. Any other questions, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. All glories to
Yeah.
Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Interesting, nice discussion I was following. My question is regarding Varnashrama Dharma versus Bhagavad Dharma. My idea is as long as the jiva is in guna, that means the Varnashrama Dharma is perfect, is definitely applicable for him. But when somebody is gunatit, that is beyond the threefold, the three modes of material nature, then Bhagavad Dharma, Varnashrama Dharma doesn't become applicable per se. But being a devotee, being exemplary to others, he also follows the Bhagavad Varnashrama Dharma.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes there is the question, why I should do certain certain activities like even tarpan and the Shraddha from the parents. I am Krishna conscious, but that is not correct. Even Mahaprabhu also did as an exemplary, because he is a
Exactly.
personality of God.
In ISKCON is a movement where Prabhupada taught many things, but he did not go into details of Pinda and all these things. Why? Because devotees will get lost in that. Therefore, he did not emphasize much. But as you said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did it. All the Vaishnavas in all the sampradayas, they do this. After all, who will give the food to the forefathers? Therefore, in Gaudiyas, when my father died, every year I do this one day. At that time, we do Vaishnava Seva. We offering the food to Krishna, and the Mahaprasad is offered to my father. We have a picture of father. We do Arati, and we have a nice bhajan and kirtan. Somebody will speak about this event, and this way he gets Mahaprasad. And then all the Vaishnavas are invited to come for having prasad. So this is the way we do it in Gaudiyas.
Yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, another example, like I was seeing. I mean, I'm thinking of is Pisima, Prabhupada's elder sister. She was in a difficult situation. She was Vaishnava herself in her quality, in her practice, but her husband was a fish eater. So she continued to even cook fish for him, but at the same time praying to Krishna that Krishna, please help me in this situation by whatever way you think is good. So that way, basically it is in line with what Lord Brahma prayed, that Tatenu Kampanam Sushumekshamanam Bhunjate Atmakritam Vipakam. That is, the Pishima is praying that this is all because of my Atmakritam Vipakam. But I am praying to you, my Lord, that you please do something so that by your mercy I can get over this situation. At the same time, it means she is following her Varnashrama Dharma as a wife, dutiful wife, but at the same time, she is also praying that please help me. That is the correct Vaishnava standing, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yeah. Later on, in his fag end of his life, he also became a surrendered devotee.
Yes, correct. That Krishna reciprocated. Yes, because Pisima was dutifully doing his her Varnashrama Dharma, at the same time continuing
She was
Krishna
actually
consciousness.
a devotee. She is a Vaishnavi.
Yeah.
So she was looking for her lordship. Separate kitchen she had, and one kitchen was her husband. But later on, the husband also was taking little prasadam. But later on, when he was getting older, he became a surrendered devotee.
Yes. Yeah, I mean that there's some confusions in the society followers. That is the Varnashrama duty, and the Varnashrama duty is always, as long as the soul is in the body and the soul is not liberated, the Jivan Mukta, if it is not a Jivan Mukta situation, then of course the Varnashrama duty applies.
Yes.
Okay.
Varnashram
Yes,
is for
yes.
everyone. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi. That's part of Varnashram Dharma.
Yes.
But he was not a normal sannyasi. He was a pure devotee. He was in the mood of Radharani.
Yeah.
So what he did in the mood of Radharani, that no other sannyasis can do. Even Mayavadi sannyasis cannot do that. And they are strict sannyasis, mind you.
What was that he did, Prabhu? The Mayavadis didn't I didn't understand the context.
Huh?
The context you are saying that Mahaprabhu did, that the Mayavadis also did do. What was that was
Because
the movement?
Mahaprabhu was meditating on the Radha Krishna's pastime. Mayavadis don't meditate.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And he had the company of what is this? Pradyumna Mishra, I think. And Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar. So you have to have a company of such Vaishnavas to be a Vaishnava.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he
Sadhu
was in
Sangha,
the
Sadhu
mood
Sangha.
of Radharani, so he needs the assistance of Lalita and Vishaka to to remember Krishna in different ways.
Yeah.
These are the two important gopis, right, of Lord Krishna?
Who's that?
You mentioned those two, Lalita ji, that the gopis. They are gopis.
Vishaka. Pradyumna Mishra, what is it? Ramananda Roy is Vishaka, and Swarup Damodar was Lalita. They are incarnations of that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
So
you.
we'll
Prabhuji.
stop at this point. We'll sing a little song. Did you do Namamishwaram? We'll sing the song Namamishwaram. Do you have a song book with you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And
Okay.
Rupini Mataji, what about the Mother Lila?
Yeah, yeah. If
Oh.
she wants to share a little bit, otherwise we can whatever
We'll sing
Prabhuji
this.
has.
Next time I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Go Kule Brajaman. Everybody.
Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajamanam
Yashoda Biyoluka Ladavamanam Paramrishnamatyanta Tato Drutya Gopya.
Yashoda Viyoluka Dhavamanam Param Drishtayatanta Drutya Gopya
Rudantam Muhur Netra Yugvam Rijantam Karamboja Yugmena Satankanetram.
Rudandam Muhurnetra Vivangijantam
Karamboja Yugmena
Bhujayugmena Dasatankanetram
Muhushvasakam Patrirekanka Kanta Sitagraiva Damodaram Bhakti Padam.
Muhuswasakam patri
Pantilitam Prachanda Tadaiva Damodara
Bhakti
Tipadam
Iti Diksva Vir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Agyapayam.
Iti Drikshalila Anandakunde Sagosham Nimajjantam Akhapayantam
Tadyeshitagesu Bhaktajitatvam Puna Prematastam Satavritivante.
Tadiyeshitagneshu Bhaktajitatvam Punah Prematastam Satavrittivande
Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksham Vadhim Va Na Chanyam Vrineham Vareshadapiha.
Varam Deva Moksham Va Mokshavadim Najami Varenyaham Vareshadapiha
Idam Teva Purnat Gopala Bala Sadame Manasya Virasakam Kiman.
Idam Tema Purnatha Gopala Balam Sadami Manasyavirastam.
Idam te mukambojam avyaktanilaya vritam kuntalaya snigdha rathaischa gopya.
Idam te mukham bhojamatantanilairbhitam kuntalai snigdha raktaisya gopya.
मुहुचुम्बितं बिम्ब रक्तादरं मे मनस्या विरासतम् अलम लक्ष्मला
Mumushumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virastam alam lakshala.
नमो देव दामोदर अनंत विष्णु प्रसिद्ध प्रभु दुख जलाब्धिमग्नो
Namo Devadamodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabdimagnam.
कृपा दृष्टि वृष्याति दीनं बतानो गृहणे क्षमामज्ञ यदि अकृदृश्य
Kriti Dinam Batanu Grihan.
कुबेरात्मजौ बद्ध मूर्तैव यद्वात् त्वया मोचितौ भक्ति पाजौ कृतौ च
Kuberatmajo Badha Murtaivayatvat Pavamochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha.
तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वकामे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो में अस्ति दामोदरे
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं शाकामि प्रयाच्छ मोक्षगहो
न मोक्ष
मेति
ग्रहो में
दामोदरे
अस्ति दामोदर नमस्ते तु दाम्ने स्फुरदीप्ति दाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायत विश्वस्य दाम्ने
नमस्ते सुधाम्नि स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्नि त्वदीयोदरायथ विश्वस्य धाम्नि
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीय प्रियायै नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय तु
नमो राधिकायै तदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय
लाय देवाय तु जय दामोदरा राधा दामोदरा दामोदरा राधा दामोदरा
Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara
जय दामोदर राधा दामोदरा दामोदरा जय दामोदरा
Jai Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara.
Read the translation. I worship the supreme controller whose form is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Upon his cheeks, makara-shaped earrings are swinging, and he shines most brilliantly in Goloka, running away from the grinding motor in a great fear of Mother Yashoda. He was ultimately caught from behind. Read the next verse. Haribol.
In this, the KK songs, Prabhu, KK songs. Just
Yeah, there's translation. Second verse.
yeah. I was going to some other. The translation is little different.
Doesn't matter. Geeta, you have the songbook with you?
No, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Nah, I got it now. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with three lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances.
Through pastimes such as these, he drowns the residents of Gokula in pools of bliss, thereby informing people who are aware of Godhood that he can only be conquered by his devotees. Hundreds and thousands of times I again offer my loving obeisance to him. Read the 4th verse, chapter, translation.
Rubini Padma Mataji or anybody else could you? I mean,
Prabhuji, I got a little busy. Please go ahead and
okay. Okay. Oh Lord, although I'm reading kksongs.org. Oh Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart, for what is the use to me of any other boon besides this?
Yes. The next one is, 1 second. Your lotus-like face encircled by soft, blackish, blue, curly locks of hair that have a reddish glow is repeatedly kissed by the gopi Sri Yasoda. May your lotus face with lips like red bimbat fruit always remain manifest in my heart. I do not care about millions of other attainments. Text 6.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes.
Yes. Text 7. Just as you freed the 2 sons of Kuvera even while bound around the belly and made them recipients of devotion, similarly, please bestow upon me profuse prema bhakti to you in your form as a little cowherd boy. O Damodar, I long for this alone. I do not want any other kind of liberation. Last verse.
O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent robe which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who display unlimited pastimes.
बोलो दामोदर अष्टक की जय हो, दामोदर व्रत की जय हो, ओज व्रत की जय हो, कार्तिक व्रत की जय हो, दीपावली महोत्सव की जय हो. Tomorrow is Govardhan Puja, I think, na? Tomorrow is Govardhan Puja. Govardhan Puja ki jai ho.
So, is there any? How do we do that puja, Prabhuji? There's a Govardhan Aarti.
Do you have a? You can make a little feast, and you make a little halwa. You make a little mountain out of a halwa. You know, like a little on a plate. You make a halwa. Then you put some little twigs and this and that, as if it's a forest there. And this way, and then you do an arati to Krishna, arati to Govardhan by chanting the holy names, and then you go parikrama of the Govardhan hill, and then distribute prasadam to everybody.
Oh, so tomorrow a lot of people in Vrindavan will be doing the parikrama.
Oh yeah, Vrindavan is all packed up with people.
Yeah. So is there an arti also for Govardhan Puja? Any special arti?
Yes, there is a very special arati. I can sing that song. It's 1 minute, just hold on. Govardhan.
Prabhuji, if you can share with us on the everyday chant, you share with me, I can share there also if you have a link to.
Yeah. I'm just finding.
Yeah, just in case you can also share later, Prabhuji.
Shri Govardhan Maharaj, Maharaj. Okay, 377. Okay, this is a Govardhan, Giriraj Govardhan. When you do parikrama, you should sing this. Shri Govardhan Maharaj, Maharaj, Tere Mate Mukut Viraj Rayo, Tere Kanan Kundala Soh Rahe, Aur Galla में जंती माला, तेरे मुख पाए मुरलिया सोह रही, थोड़ी पैया हीरा लाल, जय गोवर्धन महाराज महाराज, तेरे माथे मुकुट विराज रहो, तेरे अंग में जामा केसरिया, तेरे अंग में जामा केसरिया, और पातक ताल लाल गुलाल गुलाल, तेरे माथे मुकुट विराज रहे, तो पे पान चढ़े और फूल चढ़े, तो पे पान चढ़े और फूल, तो पे दिया जरे दिन रात, जय गोवर्धन महाराज महाराज, तेरे माथे मुकुट विराज रहे, तेरे मानसी गंगा निकट बहे, तेरे मानसी गंगा निकट बहे, तो पे चांद चाड़े दूध की धार, दूध की धार, हे माता तेरे माथे मुकुट विराज रहे, तेरी 7 करोड़ कोश की परिक्रमा, तेरी 7 कोश की परिक्रमा, और चकलेश्वर विश्राम विश्राम, तेरे माथे मुकुट विराज रहो, श्री गोवर्धन महाराज महाराज, तेरे माथे मुकुट विराज रहो. I'll read this translation. O Govardhan Maharaj, your head is adorned with a beautiful crown. From your ears dangle dazzling earrings, and from your neck hangs a splendid Vaijayanti garland. Upon your lips rests the Murali flute, and upon your chin a red ruby shines. Your body is covered with saffron-colored tunic and reddish pink chadar. You are presented with betel nuts, flowers, and lit ghee lamp day and night. Manasi Ganga flows near you, and you are bathed in the shower of milk. Your 7 Kosh Parikrama, 14 miles, is completed at Chakleshwar Mahadev. So this is a song which we sing for Govardhan Puja. This is in ISKCON, nobody knows this. Hardly people know it. But in Braj, this is how they do it. So I wish you a nice Govardhan Puja tomorrow, and a nice, this whole Kartik month is a month full of festivals. You know, there's a Go Puja will come very soon, Gopashtami will come, and Saradiya Ras, Vasanti Ras, so many festivals. Whole month is filled with festivals. That's why they go to Govardhan under the guidance of an advanced devotee and hear all these pastimes in different places of Vrindavan. That is how we should take association of advanced. If you don't have, then it's very difficult. Then one must, when you have it, you get the full benefit.
Thank you,
So
Prabhuji.
I stop at this point. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.
Same to you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Very good.
Hari Bol.
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. श्री प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
रामचंद्र प्रभु जी की जय. All the devotees, and I think today also there's some festival like Bhai Dooj or something.
Yes.
Yeah, Bhai Dooj ki jai.
Jai.
And then tomorrow Govardhan Lila ki jai and
Jai.
Govardhan Puja